Namaste, my dear friends. Today, I thought about sharing the inspirational life story of our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, along with some of his life lessons which we can also inculcate in our lives to make it better. Modi ji was born in 17th September of 1950 in Vatnagar. Back then it was a Bombay province, and then Bombay got split into Gujarat and Maharashtra, and Vatnagar came in Gujarat. He was born in a very poor family. As we have seen in many of his interviews, he said that his mother used to work as a maid, and Modi ji used to accompany his father and help him in his tea stall and help him sell tea. Along with helping his father in the tea stall, he also used to go to school at that time. And his teacher used to refer to, teacher said about Modi ji that, and I quote, he was an average student, but he was exceptionally talented in debating. He was also very good at sports, arts, drama, etc. At this tea stall of his father, tea stall in which both of them worked, it was near a railway station. So during that time, the Indo-Pakistan and Indo-China war happened, and the Jawans or the soldiers used to come and go via their trains, and Modi ji got opportunities to talk with them and to serve them and to sell them tea, etc. etc. So he was into service back then in his childhood itself. Then growing up, Modi ji was really influenced by Swami Vivekananda's ideals. And he travelled all around the country for 2 years, and he went to different spiritual places like Kailash, he went to Kedarnath, he went to Badrinath, he went to many such sacred spiritual places. After 2 years, he came back. In 1975, he came back and he joined the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And then in 1975, the then Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi, declared the emergency, aka the death of democracy or a black day in democracy. During emergency, RSS and many other organizations were banned. That did not stop our Prime Minister from doing his service to the nation. He still continued to serve the people. He went all around Gujarat and talked to people and still continued his service. The members and people of the BJP were really impressed, and he took Modi ji to the Ayodhya Rath Yatra, which is pretty popular. He went there, and in Modi ji's participation in the Rath Yatra and many others really impressed the senior members of the BJP. And then he was given a ticket to contest for the Chief Ministership of Gujarat. In 2001, he was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and ever since that year, he has not failed in a single election that he has stood for. From 2001 to 2014, Modi ji has been the Chief Minister of Gujarat. Under his Chief Ministership, Gujarat has seen a different height of development. Let that be having Asia's largest number of solar panels, let that be electrification, and many other development. Even today, Gujarat is one of the best states of India, one of the best developed states of India. So Modi ji was an excellent leader, and that can be seen when you check the developments he have made as a Chief Minister back then itself. Then in 2009, BJP lost, and in 2014, the senior members of the BJP gave ticket and gave Prime Minister Modi ji, not Prime Minister back then, Chief Minister Modi ji, a chance to stand for the election. He was proclaimed as the NDA's, National Democratic Alliance's, Prime Minister candidate. It was Modi ji. But at that time, Congress and many other opposition blamed the NDA for putting forward Modi ji, because during his tenure as a CM in Gujarat, the Gujarat riots happened. And the opposition just blindly accused him for supporting or encouraging those right participants. But later the High Court has proven that Modi ji is not guilty and he can stand for the elections. In 2014, Modi ji won as the Prime Minister and has given rise to a new India filled with hope, filled with optimism, and filled with zeal. This is a story, in short. The first thing when you think about Modi ji or his charisma or his aura is the confidence. The level of confidence which Modi ji has can be clearly pointed out or clearly seen by the way he walks, by the way he talks, by the way he campaigns, and what else. As I mentioned before, he was driven with Swami Vivekananda's ideals. What did Swami Vivekananda say? He said that one must believe in oneself, in their own self, before believing in another God. Because unless or until you believe in yourself, there is no God who is capable of helping you or who is capable in improving you. And with this confidence, Modi ji got rid of all those false accusations with which the Congress and many other opposition has put upon him. Second is grit or willpower. Because if a man has to rise from a tea seller's position to the country's most powerful position of a prime minister, it requires an immense amount of willpower and grit. This story is the best example for grit expressed by Indians. In 14th May of 2014, everybody was like, he's just a boy who used to sell tea, he's a CM of Gujarat, just that. But in 15th May 2014, he proved to the world that India is, not only in paper but also in practice, that it is the world's biggest democracy, and even a tea seller can become the Prime Minister one day if he has the capability to do so. Because for the past 70 years, we've been witnessing dynasty politics, and unless or until you have a powerful surname, you're not supposed to have such powerful places. But Modi ji broke that stereotype. Third is oratory skills. Well, everybody knows that in politics, campaigning has a very big role. We must say that electoral politics do play a big role. Many fiery orators such as Arun Jaitley ji, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, Sushma Swaraj ji, Tejasvi sir, and many others are exceptionally talented politicians as well. One who knows how to convince the audience, one who knows how to mesmerize and captivate the audience will definitely have a power to influence the people with his decisions. Modi ji has this, very charming way of delivering his speech, because his speeches are quite long. It is about 30 to 1 hour. He says that by, captivating or mesmerizing the audience. Once you listen to his speeches, you will get addicted. That's how mesmerizing his speeches are. So, oratory skills, as an orator, there is nobody else better than Narendra Modi ji. Then, fourth is that taking pride in one's own nationality and cultural identity. Well, as a nationalist myself, I have noticed that nowadays nationalism is being equated to jingoism. When one says that I'm a nationalist, I'm a proud Indian or a proud Hindu, people look at you like as if you have committed a crime. It is considered uncool to be a nationalist, to take pride in one's own cultural roots. Well, I must say that it is wrong, because if today India, Bharat, Hindustan is an independent nation, it is because of nationalists like Veer Savarkar, Gandhiji, Lokmanya Tilak, and many others. It is because of those nationalist movements today we are an independent nation. So we must not underestimate the power of nationalism under any cost. Modi ji's nationalism or his pride in cultural or national identity can be seen when he goes for foreign visits. In countries like Israel, US, he is seen to deliver his speeches and speak in Hindi. He wears Indian attire. He goes from having scientific talks in Israel to meditating in the sacred shrines of Kedarnath and Badrinath, Modi ji takes immense pride in flaunting his Hindu identity and the Indian identity as a whole. That is something we must, inculcate into our lives as well. He is one among the personalities who has never compromised on his ideologies or his beliefs under any cost. In the society we live in today, we have politicians who place their petty politics over the nation. They are ready to betray the nation in the name of, for the sake of coming into power. But Modi ji is not. And it is not an exaggeration to say that if there is any one political party in India which has been staying true to its ideology from the beginning till the present day, it is only and only the BJP. And Modi ji is no exception. He always stays true to his ideologies, stays true to his promises, which leads me to the next point, that he is a fantastic leader. This man, who is over the age of 70 years, is more energetic than youngsters nowadays. He is more energetic than me and you. He works for 18 hours a day with full productivity. He just sleeps for 4 hours. He does not complain. He has mentioned in one of his speeches that he does not feel tired after working hard, because essentially he feels satisfied. That is also one of the things we must inculcate. Modi ji has always believed, as I said, to fulfill his promises. He has delivered every promise that he has made before the elections. Let that be abrogation of Article 370, let that be the Ram Mandir issue, or anything. Let that be Swachh Bharat, let that be Ujjwala scheme, let that be Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and many others. He has always been, true to his promises. He also is an exceptional leader who boosts the morals of people, of all Indians, from army personnels to ISRO scientists. Another point is that no matter what heights you reach, no matter how high your positions are right now, you always have to be humble, patient and polite. There is no other example I can take except for Modi ji in this case, because there's an example. You just have to, it's available on YouTube, that in a parliamentary session, our Honorable Vice President Venkaiah Naidu sir was delivering a speech, and in between Modi ji walked in, and his seat, if he has to go and sit in his seat, he has to cross Venkaiah Naidu sir. So what PM Modi does is that he stands here and waits till Venkaiah Naidu sir concludes his speech. It shows how humble he is, how polite he is, and how patient our Prime Minister is. And also, when him and many other parliamentarians like Tejasvi sir has been seen, touching their foreheads to the constitution and the steps of the parliament, which is considered as the temple of democracy. Yesterday, a few videos got viral in social media, that is of the opposition and the Congress, AAP, many other parties, throwing books at the chair, vandalizing things, just creating a ruckus inside the parliament. In such a place, be like Modi ji. Be humble, be polite. Now, there are a few more points which really touched me when I read his story. It is that, the time is over when you have to be born with a silver spoon so as to dream big. Because Modi ji himself is an example that you do not have to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth or to have a strong dynastical surname to dream big. Because for the last 70 years, unless or until you have a strong surname, or unless or until you belong to a strong political party, you have no chance of dreaming to be a Prime Minister. But the new India is not like that. The new India showed us that even a tea seller can become a Prime Minister if he has the capability to do so. That is the India which I envision, which we all should be proud that we possess. The most important point all throughout his journey from CM to PM is that ignore all these howls and barks along the way as long as you're sure that you're on the right path. Because if Modi ji listened to these opposition screaming that he's a tea seller, he's going to be the PM one day, we're not going to let that happen. If he had listened to these shameless arguments put forward by these opposition, he would have never been the PM. He would have stopped the day when this opposition blindly and falsely accused him for supporting the Gujarat Riot participants. When the HC, the High Court of Gujarat, has proven him innocent, he was allowed to contest in elections as a prime ministerial candidate of the NDA. So do not listen to all these barkings and howlings from the people who stop you from achieving your dreams. All these things are possible because of this new India envisioned by our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji. From 2014, we have seen this new India which is filled with zeal, hope and aspirations that even a common man can dream to be a president or a prime minister. I would also suggest you to read the poem that Sogandh Mujhe is Mitti Ki, written by our Honorable Prime Minister. This is really motivational, you just have to give it a read. And due to all these reasons, I consider our Honorable Prime Minister to be my role model, whom I aspire to be like, who has all these qualities which I want to, possess, and which I wish many, many, many leaders also possess. And due to all these reasons and due to because of the fact that I have leaders whom I can be, whom I can make as my role model, if that makes me a Modi Bhakt, I am really okay with that tag, because I have leaders whom I can make as my role models. Whereas not many parties have that, not many people are like that. So I am very proud to flaunt my identity as Modi Bhakt, it's okay. And with that, I would like to conclude my words. Thank you for listening, and Bharat Mata Ki Jai.